I want to welcome you. Hi, this is David Barron, and also known as Dantalian Jones. I am recording this for the Advanced Hypnosis Skills Facebook group. I am also recording this for the YouTube channel Hypnotic, or rather the University of Hypnotism. It is in response to a comment that was made there on the group by a fellow named Gordon. He had, his specific question was about having confidence doing a hypnotic induction. Now, he said that he very much was good at doing covert and conversational hypnosis, but when it came to someone actually coming up to him and saying, "Hypnotize me," in other words, wanting that hypnotic induction, he was challenged. And what he said was he wanted confidence of word choice and from staying firm and reserved in the eyes of the subject and generating that certain needed respect required of hypnotic commands. My comment is, first and foremost, if you're really good at covert hypnosis, like you say, you have my thumbs up, because covert hypnosis is really challenging, and for me, learning it, it was like learning a whole new language. So I want to give you a thumbs up for learning covert hypnosis. Compared to direct hypnosis, what you're going to find is that direct hypnosis is pretty straightforward, it's pretty simple. One of the reasons that most people are challenged with doing direct hypnosis is because it's a situation someone says, "Hypnotize me," and you are actually put in a situation where you may fail. Both you and the other person will realize that you didn't get hypnotized, and that for a lot of people is a major challenge. What I want to tell you first of all is accept the challenge. Set your mind to it and really decide that if someone says hypnotize, make it your intent to hypnotize them. Go ahead and just do that. When you're able to do that, just put all of your attention on that person. Now, there are some things that I can give you and Gordon some information on and advice that will make this very easy. First and foremost, learn your hypnotic inductions. Memorize a few of them. And the three things you can do is practice and practice and practice. And when I say practice, I mean stand in front of a mirror, speak out loud, and imagine that someone is there that you are hypnotizing. And imagine them responding to it. So you start to train yourself to do this and understand, what it's like to really get comfortable giving these commands. Do it out loud, preferably in front of a mirror, and imagine that someone that you're hypnotizing. This is the book that I use when I'm doing workshops. Now, you can get this book. You can get it on Amazon, but it's way too expensive there. However, if you go to mindcontrolpublishing.com, you'll find it's at a major discount. It is the workbook that I use when I'm teaching it one-to-one, and it also has quite a few inductions in there, along with the normal process of the 10-step process of hypnosis that we use. So I recommend it. You can just as easily go to YouTube and type in hypnotic inductions, and you'll find a couple hundred of them. What I recommend is pick one. Just pick one and memorize it, practice it, and then practice it, and then practice it. You'll get your confidence up that way. One of the things that I think is really important to understand is that when you're doing direct hypnosis and someone asks you to hypnotize me, I'm going to first assume that what asking is they're not challenging you. They're not saying, "I bet you can't hypnotize me." Instead, they're saying, I want this really amazing and interesting experience. Well, that's great. I will tell you how to respond when someone challenges you with, I bet you can't hypnotize me. So, if someone comes up and says, I want you to hypnotize me, let me be your subject, think of it this way. You're not going to give hypnotic suggestions. Don't ever give hypnotic suggestions. Instead, give instructions. The whole idea of a suggestion implies that they don't have to do it. But an instruction implies if they follow the instruction, they get a result. And when you think of it and actually present it as, okay, follow my instructions, what happens is the responsibility goes on them. If nothing happens, if you've delivered the induction correctly and they're sitting there saying it didn't work, it's because they didn't follow your instructions. So the first thing you do, let's assume you have memorized your induction. And someone comes up and says, hey, I'd love to be your hypnosis subject. You say, and look them straight in the eye, you say, okay, all you have to do, follow my instructions. Agreed? And notice I raised my eyebrow and I nodded my head. Agreed? And you wait for them to say okay. At that point, you start to give them just simple directions. This is not part of the hypnosis process. It is part of them getting comfortable hearing and following instructions. So you say, okay, stand over here, sit down, put your feet together. You don't tell them why you're doing it. You're just giving them direct instructions so that they get comfortable following your instructions. Once that happens, then you go into the induction. Now, I have a very favorite induction I use all the time. It never fails me because I'm practiced at it. It's a version of induction. I will give it to you if you get the workbook that I use for seminars. You'll find that it is in there, but it goes basically like this. Take a deep breath. In fact, before we do it, if you want to follow along with me, just follow my instructions. Notice your response. Okay. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Good. Now, focus on your eyes and your eyelids. Focus totally on your eyes and eyelids. And for this moment, for right now, just pretend. Imagine, just suppose that you have taped your eyelids shut. They're now sealed together. They're locked down. They're taped so securely, sealed so tightly, and locked so firmly that you know, no matter how hard you try, they simply stay closed. Make that true. And when you have, just for an instant, prove it to yourself. Test it. You'll see them raise their eyes up and eyebrows up and down. The minute you see that, you say, stop testing, sleep. Go deeper and deeper and deeper. The deeper you go, the better you feel, and the better you feel, the deeper you go. Okay, now if you're following along, if you're in hypnosis, if you enjoy the process, you can always go back to this video and get the rest of it, or you can just keep going deeper and enjoy what's being experienced right here. The point is, that's as simple as it needs to be. As long as they're following your instructions and you're giving them as instructions, not so much as commands, but as instructions, they'll follow along. Now, what happens if someone comes up to you and they say, hey, I bet you can't hypnotize me? I get that a lot. I'm a hypnotist. And so you get these usually young men who've gone to the gym way too much, and they think that they're strong-willed and they have a preconception or misconception about hypnosis. So they say, I bet you can't hypnotize me. Well, I always just turn it back on them. I say, wow, you may be right, because there are people that I know who aren't able to follow instructions, either because they don't want to or they simply don't have the ability to follow instructions. But I tell you what, let's try something and let's determine whether you're one of those people. In that, I just turned it around. I made the challenge now on them. It's up to them to prove that they have an attention span and can follow instructions. When someone does come up to you and says, can you hypnotize me? It's always a good idea to ask them, what do you want to experience? For some people, they just want the experience of being hypnotized. That's understandable. They just want to get this feeling. Maybe you could take them and lift up their hand like this and have them look at it as though it's completely separate from their body. Have that experience of kissing. And that's really something that they respond to very well. So just take their hand and lift it up, have them open their eyes and look at it, and notice that as much as you try, you cannot move it. No matter how hard you try, it just stays right there. Go on from there. Do your research on various other hypnotic phenomena, and let them have, most of all, let them have a very positive experience as you do this. Now, with the instruction that I give through this book and the workshops and the seminars, there's a whole 10-step process. It's a really good process. I love it. I teach it. I'm sort of just married to it. But understand, as long as you can do the induction, as long as you can get them in that state, you will get some really good results. So I do hope this has answered some of your questions regarding building your confidence. I know that my mentor, Jeff Stevens, he spent a lot of talking about the whole idea of intent. And intent is when you have determined that what is going to happen is going to happen. And as a hypnotist, you have set your intent that this person is going to be hypnotized. So regardless of what happens, regardless of how they respond, whether it's really positively or if it's challenging, it doesn't faze you. You're simply going to keep doing it and doing something different until they respond exactly the way you want. That's the strength of your intent. So I hope this has answered your questions. If you do have any other questions, go to the Facebook group, Advanced Hypnosis Skills, and join, type your questions in there. You can also go to the YouTube channel, University of Hypnotism, and I'll be happy to respond there as well. Thank you very much. I really look forward to hearing your responses. Take care. Bye.